Build was formed in 2006. In that year, Manitoba Hydro had decided to raise rates like 17.5%. The largest landowner of the province is Manitoba Housing, our social housing provider. Their housing utility bills are paid through EIA, or what some places call welfare. And so that type of situation was very prevalent in those days. People living in energy poverty, the taxpayers over-servicing an unsustainable service through those utility bills. So Build steps in and combines those things. Build was formed as an insulation company in the early days, finding the people who most need the work and putting them to work doing the work that most needs being done. And that was hiring people who'd never had a job, people who were traditionally excluded from the economy in order to do the work. I believe that the economy has room for everybody who wants to get in there.
A lot of people in my family are addicts. I used to be when I was an alcoholic, and I used to be addicted to drugs. Build was my first actual stable job. They had told me that like you start, I think it was January 2nd. And one of the requirements was that you had to be sober. I kind of got sober. The one good thing about Build is that when it got bad, they noticed, but they didn't say anything until I came forward and asked for that help, which wasn't until about after a year. So they waited a year for me to, step up and be like, yeah, I need this help, like I have a problem. I mean, they taught me, how to be responsible for others. I just feel like this is where I want to be, this is where I want to work, I want to help my community. That's what I want to do. So Build is two things. We're a social enterprise and we're a training program. Our training program is 700 hours of paid training. We're going to give you your PPE, so that's your hard toes, your hard hat. We're going to give you a tool belt. You're going to get 10 or 11 safety certificates. You're also going to get things like money management, parenting skills, healthy relationships training. You're getting time with your elder. You're getting cultural teachings. You get sweat. At the end of that 6 weeks, congratulations, you've now graduated to the job site. Build is running right now 13 crews. We get as high these days as 18 crews. Our exit planner then has relationships with the large construction companies and some of the smaller ones around town. Calls around, who's hiring? Here's a handoff. And every single person along the way, from our care planners, our justice team, who's in our federal institution near here for up to a year before people are released, to our crew leads, to our painters, to our carpenters, every single one has a say and has massive measurable impact on the development of a next generation of a labor force that is considered non-traditional. I'm a really prescriptive problem solver. It can be very chaotic around here. And so I will very, very quickly just make a decision, move into a solution, move on. I don't have time. The Investment Readiness Program, what it did was it gave us a second to hire a researcher and say, am I making the right choice?
So this project was called Shared Accommodations, and it originally started with the idea that helping trainees become roommates in some way or fashion going to help them get stable housing. But from the outset, it was kind of free range to explore what would actually help solve some of the housing issues that trainees were having. And so the project really entailed coming up with a whole bunch of ideas. The one that was the most unexpected to me was maybe there's a need for some therapeutic intervention, hiring a counselor. What happens in the lives of trainees at Build is they're trying to better themselves to become employable, and sometimes the people they're living with are not there yet. And when you look at how much it costs to employ a therapist, like a full-time therapist, it's well under the threshold that we determined was what we needed to be a feasible investment. And the thing with housing is that the market's always changing. There's specific relationships that if you build with landlords and social housing providers, you'll be more likely to be aware of, when something opens up. And so another surprising one was to hire someone who specializes in social housing supports. Overall, I'd say it is a very successful project in terms of we have a whole bunch of ideas that are viable. There's a whole bunch of things that can happen to stabilize people's housing while they're here and after.
This round has been massively successful. There's going to be so much impact out of this round of IRP compared to the previous round. Build, our relationship with funding has been tumultuous the past few years, but having the IRP step in and say that there's a future in social enterprise and that you should be thinking about, future investments. It shows that someone sees value in the impacts that we're bringing.